have told me, I'd have probably slapped him. What do you mean wheelchair? What are you talking about? And but like I say, I felt like I could do anything then. Well, back then the only struggling was like, it really wasn't that big of a deal because I could still do everything. So I got married, and I had my first child, and it was all real pretty neat and everything. And I thought, man, this is great. Man, I've got my family, and everything's cool now. And in 1978, I got to where I was unable to work, and I knew why, but I didn't want to tell that to everybody else. I wasn't honest with myself, is what it is. But still, I was in denial because I tried to do things to cover it up, because I didn't want. I guess I didn't want people to know that, I had something wrong with me. I coached softball, and I did, like I said, I did all these things to keep me from going, you can't do anything, So, and all that time I was still walking. But it just seemed to get steadily worse because that's the kind of disease it is. And then I went back to the same old thing again, drugs and drinking and partying and stuff like that. And there was a few other things that happened. I was in a tornado at that time in '79. I was in the '79 tornado, and luckily I was by myself because I don't think I would have known how to handle a baby and a wife and something like that. Sometime later, probably 5 years later, I was sitting in my apartment and I was just really bummed out. And I said, man, and I started walking with a cane. I said, well, what am I going to go into a club or something and, go dancing with a cane or, I said, who's going to go for that? So I was in my bedroom, and at that time I had started, I bought me a gun, and me and my friend would go out to the rifle range, and I thought it was kind of cool. It's kind of neat shooting a gun and everything. But at that time, like I say, I was so down and so depressed that I was going to take my life. And I'd heard different things about God can communicate with us, but I always thought that, I don't believe that, But just as we're talking here, God told me, He said, man, I've got a plan for you if you'll just give me a chance. And so my cousin had been bothering me to go to church with him. And so finally I just got tired of it. I said, okay, I'll go. And I went to church with him. And the preacher I had met like 5 years before that in Burke Burnett. And he remembered my name. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to go somewhere, I want to go where people know my name. And so a couple weeks, a month, in November of 1987, they had the altar call, and I went down and I surrendered to Christ. So I met my wife, and we got married. 2 years later, I had my son, Jacob. And that was pretty cool because at that time I could hold my kids in my lap and, just be like a regular dad, do stuff with them. And then we had my daughter, and my wife is really sweet. She takes care of me, and we've been married for 28 years, and there's been rough times. And like I say, I don't know It's only by the grace of God that I get up every day. Well, and she helps me too. You know, you might look at someone in a wheelchair and say, "Oh, they're sitting. That's not that big of a deal," but it actually is, because you have to deal with, how am I going to get out of it when I go to bed, or when I do this and do that. Just life in general, you know, you have to have somebody to feed you. You know, you have to have a table that's the right height so you can get food in your mouth and feed yourself every once in a while. And like today, I was brushing my teeth, and I went just to rinse my mouth, and I dropped a glass of water on my shirt. And like I said, I wish I could say, "Oh wow, I dropped a glass of water," but that wasn't the case. And so it's just the everyday things that you don't think about, like going to the bathroom. You know, what's the deal on that, man? Everybody can go to the bathroom, you know. And like I say, I tried it, but man, when you find out that you can't go to the bathroom by yourself, that's a little different. How do you take a bath? How do you eat? How do you, you know, because this type of muscular dystrophy affects every muscle in your body. But it's so slow, you know, that it just, as long as you kind of take care of your heart, your lungs, and stuff like that, you'll last a while. But it gets worse every day, you know. But as the time goes on, it's very progressive, and it doesn't get better. So, you know, like used to, I could get in and out of my wheelchair to go to bed, or I used to put my shirt on, or, you know, and all these things now I cannot do. You know, as you grow older, there's other things that happen to you too. They found out, 6 years ago, that I had some kind of a heart thing, and I've been in and out of the hospital with that 3 or 4 times. And one of the times I was in the hospital for 40 days. And you know, and my way of thinking is, if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. You know, so I try to do things like, well, I started doing paint by number paintings and stuff, and I didn't think I could do it at first, but then I found out that the Lord blessed me enough to where I could hold the brush, and, you know, so I really enjoy doing that, and it gives me purpose in my life. But the main purpose is my family and God. And you know, like I say, if I got up tomorrow morning and I could walk, that'd be cool. But if I can't, that's cool too. And really, I can say today that 30 years ago, I'm glad I didn't take my life, because I wouldn't have what I have now with my family and my relationship with God. And to me, those two things are the most important thing. And you know, I think it was James that said that life is like a vapor. You're here and then you're gone. So, you know, we're not guaranteed anything. Yeah. But with Christ, we can accept anything. And that's what, like I say, that's me. You know, I'm in a wheelchair. So what? You know, but don't get me wrong. There's some times when I go, ah, you know, I hate this. I can't stand this. Why do I have to live like this? You know. But then I remember why. Because that's His plan. I don't, you know, that's it. And like I say, it's just life.